up, Bruda? Bruda, I'll just go ahead and say it right now. The Pokemon are completely broken. I spent like an hour trying to fix it. I updated everything and yeah, I don't know. It's like totally broken. I'm gonna have to try to look at it tomorrow. I like had to update everything, and then cause it kept crashing, and then when it updated, it said I had to remove all the Twitch commands and re-add them. So I removed them all and then click re-add, and it didn't re-add any of them. So there was gonna be no way to catch any of them. The Pokemon still spawn like normal, but just nobody can catch anything. Yep. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Getting tired, but no want to sleep. Why no want to sleep? Why you no want to sleep?
Oh, Bruda Dave, you can try to catch me, but I'm a quick little fox. Maybe we can play a game of tag instead? I'll let you chase me around for a bit before showing off my hiding skills. Ready, set, go, Fox, Speedy.
Oh, cause this guy named Jake's live. Yeah, but that guy named Jade has a rule about sleep. You remember the rule? It's a pretty good rule. That's right. The rule is sleep are for old people. No, the other one. Sleep when you can. If you can, you probably should. Let me just change your mind a little bit here on sleep. There are a few things that give you energy, right? I say there's 4 things that you need to have adequate energy during the day. You gotta drink enough water. You gotta eat enough food. You gotta exercise. And you gotta sleep. Now, the problem is water is basically free. So that's a really good one. But food costs money. So food's a hard one. And you have to like it's I think like people think exercising is the hardest of those. I don't think it's the hardest. I think the food is the hardest. Cuz food, you got to make food. You got to eat the food. You got to pay for the food. Like that's hard. Exercise is basically it's free once you have equipment or whatever, like, you know. It's free. You just got to do it. I zoned out on the last one. Uh-huh. I think we're actually live on YouTube this time. By the way. I don't know if I really figured it out, per se. But I'm getting a better understanding of how this works. So the thing is, like, the food is hard. I think the hardest one... I mean, the food's the hardest one. What's up? Come closer. What's going on here? Get off my face. That can go away too. Hi, Artsy. I think food is the hardest. And then exercise. But then water, and then sleep. Maybe. Is water the easiest or is sleep? Probably water's easier, right? Maybe water's the easiest and the one that people do the least. That's kind of crazy. I think the easiest fix for getting energy is to drink more water. Isn't that crazy? I think it's the one people ignore the most. They don't hydrate enough. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a rubber room. I listened to a choir sing a song about that when their teacher wasn't, you know. I'm gonna cry. Not really. Don't do it. For reals though. I'm thinking about it, like it's kind of wild. If those are like the main 4 things for energy, people don't hydrate enough. It's the easiest one. And then sleep is the second. It's like as easy. I don't sleep enough though, you know? So, hi Boofer. God loves you too. I'm trying to eat some fake chimkin nuggets, but my stomach was having problems earlier. Anyway, Pokemon are broken. Just heads up. Heads up, Pokemon broken. Needed that? Man, I tell you what, there's a God who loves you. He cares about you. And he wants the best for you. We were talking through Twitter. There's a guy and I. He brought up this quote from somebody that was talking about kind of like your choices. And the choice he was saying was, you know, you can choose to be stressed. There's a couple of them. It was like, busy is a choice. Stress is a choice. Joy is a choice. Choose wisely. That was kind of the quote. And it was from somebody else and it was from a book. And, you know, we were kind of pulling into that, like, well, what is joy? You know, how does this person, how does she define joy? And she said, how did she word it? She worded it like, it's not the things that you're It's not the things that give you joy that you're grateful for. It's the things you're grateful for that give you joy. I hadn't thought about it like that, I guess. I still don't know fully if that like encompasses it. But I agree that gratitude and being thankful are huge parts of joy. Maybe the like key component of joy. Because happiness is temporary. You know, we talk about that. Being happy is just a temporary thing. You can for sure buy happiness. You know, you can buy temporary happiness. If I'm not happy and somebody buys me ice cream, I am temporarily happy. But like that happiness isn't going to last. And neither will the ice cream, especially not in my hands. But gratitude and thankfulness you know, gratitude and thankfulness are regardless of your situation. One person could be in a situation and say, you know, this is hopeless. I hate this. This is awful. All these things went wrong. And somebody else could be in the exact same situation and just choose to be thankful for the little things that are happening, the little goods that are going on. Like looking for the silver lining, I guess. I think that's where your choice is. So in that way, I don't know if I believe that joy is necessarily a choice as much as a byproduct. And the byproduct is by choosing to be thankful, choosing to have gratitude, regardless. Your byproduct becomes joy. When you can when you can be thankful, regardless of the bad, you don't ignore the bad. You know, blessed are those that are poor in spirit. Blessed are those that are grieving, and those that can grieve with others that grieve. Mourn with those who mourn. Jesus wept. You know, we talked about all that yesterday. And so I was just kind of pulling through that a little bit today and just like, you know, yeah. You can grieve and yet still choose to be thankful. You don't have to be you don't have to be happy about every situation. It's not like I'm so glad all this bad stuff is happening. Grieve with those who grieve, but still choose to be thankful. I see that a lot in the Psalms too. You know, David is like, God, what the heck is going on? All this bad stuff. All this bad stuff going on all around me. I hate it. I hate all of it. And then he almost always ends with like a, but even so, I will praise your name. I will say thank you. You know, again, I will be, it will be well with my soul because you were there. Like you were my comfort. You were my shield. You're the one that, you know, you take care of me. And that's the attitude, you know, I think it really takes is, if grief is the price we pay for love, that's what Queen Elizabeth II said, then I think, you know, you grieve, but you choose to be thankful. They seem like they're at odds, but they're not, you know? I don't know. Just some stuff I've been thinking about. Been working on an animatic all day, yesterday and today, practically, and now I'm putting it all together, having issues. It's infuriating. Perry, I'm sorry that you're having troubles with that. What does it mean to choose to be thankful? Even while my animatic is not working. Speaking of which, I am thankful. I could be sad that it took me 2.5 hours last night to find my Cintiq pen. But instead, I'm choosing to be thankful that I found it. I was going to have to buy a new one. I looked it up on Amazon. A new one of these pens is roughly $400. Brand new. Because they don't make them anymore. So I didn't want to spend that. And so I looked on eBay and they were $150. I didn't really want to spend that either. So I'm glad I found it. So I will, I'm considering getting back into doing some drawing. It's been a while. Been a while since I've done some drawing. Oh, that Apple bills are expensive 100? Yeah, this is not like what the cost should be. It's just because they don't. It's not a common pen anymore, you know? I think it varies from person to person. Which is easier? Thinkitude, gratitude, enjoy or linked. Happiness is usually attached to needing more to keep it up. Jumping on the struggle train is a choice. Like the It Is Well With My Soul composer. Yeah. That's the third time I've heard that quote this week. I've been quoting a lot. I've been I hope I'm not getting sick. Kind of feel like I might be getting sick. Get rid of that. No, we're not doing Thankful Thursday drawings, but I don't know. I'm gonna it'd probably be off stream for a little while. I kind of want to just play with it a little bit. I don't remember how to draw at all. It's been, you know, over a year or something, so I'm gonna start over a little bit. Try to draw. I've been watching this anime called Frieren, and it just really, I don't know, for some reason it really makes me want to draw every time I watch it. They have these scenes where it's just a close-up of Frieren's eyes, and I'm just like, oh man, I love drawing eyes. I want to draw eyes. I just want to blow my nose. Please don't draw you blowing your nose. I'll try not to. No promises. I've had a hard time, like, my body isn't processing food very well right now. I'm not sure why. Also, my poops have been like little, like rabbit poops. You know, like little poop pellets. For some reason. But I'm not getting sick. TMI? Oh, sorry. I should have a warning on the stream. I don't believe in TMI. I don't believe in it. Well, when we last left off in Power Washing Simulator, I was getting pretty close to finishing cleaning the fire station. Yeah. If you know Enneagram, I'm a 5-wing 4. The 5 is obsessed with looking up information. So if I overshare, it's because that's what I wish people did for me. don't know if this actually works or not. Trying changing the game in YouTube to YouTube Live, and I don't know if that's the thing I could do or not, but I did it, so. All right, power washing simulator. We're gonna do this while we do this. We did an escape room earlier today, first time. Your family did? That's awesome. Was it so fun? I love escape rooms. Yeah, escape rooms are the best. Gartic phone would be a good drawing on stream start. No. No, I don't know. I don't even know if I don't really want to draw. That's the thing. There's so many other things that I need to focus on, but just I'm ADHD and my mind gets stuck on something and I need to like get it out, and so whatever. It'll just be something I can do before bed probably. Team I don't tap the info dump. I've been having absorption issues too. Yeah, it's been weird. Just, you know, a lot of nose drain stuff too. I don't know if might be getting sick. We did escape, but it only took us exactly an hour. Yeah, like right up to the end. Did you guys have to get hints? The people that work there do a good job. We didn't actually escape. Oh no. Oh no, making a joke that like you escaped because they opened the door and let you out. Dang. I refuse to not escape from an escape room. I've done probably, I don't know, maybe 10 or so. I don't care what group I'm with, we are escaping. That is not a question. I'll solve 3 puzzles at the same time if I have to. We're getting out of that escape room. We are leaving. There was one escape room that I did with some friends where one of the puzzles, you were supposed to find the 10 commandments and then use the order of the commandments to know the code to get out. You know, like, oh, like that's the 3rd commandment, that's the 10th commandment, that's the 1st commandment, and then it's like, oh, 10, 3, 1, you know, or something like that. And I was like, I didn't know that we were supposed to find the commandments, like that they were supposed to be listed somewhere in like in a drawer that we unlocked. So I was just like, oh, okay, so we need the 10 commandments. And I was like, it will go well with you if you don't bow down to idols, go well with you if you worship God alone, and if you honor Father's Day and your mother's name and your mom and dad. No. I was just like I was singing the song that's like the 10 Commandments song that I learned as a kid. And I was like, oh, so it's got to be like 738 or something like that. And then we unlocked it. And the lady came on over the intercom and she was like, did you just sing the 10 Commandments? You're supposed to unlock the door. There's a thing. Like, we don't expect you to just know the 10 Commandments and the order of them. I was like, oh, yeah, I was thinking that was like oddly specific information that would suck if you didn't know it, but good times. So, but you guys solved it really fast. way faster than usual. I once escaped from a 2% success rate room. Turned out that the room was broken, and we happened to get in the next part by randomly flicking off switches. Oh, I love it. Nice. That's the best. Yeah, that is the best. When you just video game it. Video game logic it. Yep. One of the coolest rooms I was ever in, there was a laser, and you had to like direct the laser around the room, and then it like went into the eye of one of the things, and the eyes were rupees, and it made the whole like room light up, and then it like opened a door or something. There's been a lot of cool stuff. There was one like that. There was one where I've been in a couple where it does the conducting, where you have to touch the side of the wall. You know, you touch your hands together and touch both sides of the wall, and then it connects the circuit, and that opens the door. Or like what other cool things have I had? Oh man, there was one that was like an old video game arcade. That one was pretty sweet. I also get a lot of the escape rooms I've done in real life mixed up with escape rooms I've done in video games. They just blur together in my mind. After, you know, things that were 3 years ago, I'm like, I don't remember if I did that in a video game or if I did that in real life. 3 years is like, I just don't remember anymore. Buddy of mine made an electromagnetic in a room to advance. Oh, and made an electromagnet. Found the instructions for it a little later. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I'd probably do that too. You just need a current, and then you take a wire. You take a pole, some kind of metal, and you wrap wire around it to get the electromagnet. Then you touch it on both sides. Yeah. That's probably what I would do too. I'd be like, I don't know. Maybe they just assume everybody knows how to make an electromagnet. Jade still doesn't know if he power washes IRL or in game. I know I do that in game because I haven't gotten paid. I haven't gotten paid yet to do this. I don't know why this says 500 something out of 1,000. It feels like, you know. Yeah, they don't pay me. I wish I got paid what I get paid in the game to do this. Power washing this has been like... I've mostly gotten the... I think the building is all done, this one. And then we just got this one to do. Guess we'll use the scaffolding for this one. I rarely use the scaffolding. Probably should. How did they get up there? Hey, zoom in. Yeah, I can tell I have some like nasal leak stuff going on. Just nasal congestion, whatever. I think that's just, you know, not really sure what to do about it. Other than just tell my body to stop. Apparently this game also has some lore where the mayor's cat is missing. Oh, is that right? I haven't heard any lore.
Hello.
Solemn hi. Happy New Year to you, though it is late. Lee Marv, how are you? Happy New Year. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, we're a ways into the year already. We're almost into March already. Crazy to think. It's been a rough ride, but I'm still alive. I'm sorry. It's always been a rough ride. Anything specific? I've had a pretty good year so far. You were sick not that long ago, so you're not allowed to get sick again? Well, some of this is kind of just a constant state of being sick. It's not like real sick. It's more like I wouldn't get out of school for this kind of sick. Just sort of, you know, allergy related stuff that feels like allergies, but it's more, yeah. It'll be fine. Emotional breakdown, sick 3 times after getting better. Job promotion, more work. You going all right? Motivated by food? Yeah, motivated by food. I feel that. I wish I could eat more. I wish my body would let me eat more. I try, but it's really hard. Just I have problems with that. Yes, I am. I am done with Pal World. I 100%ed it for what they have right now. So I've caught every Pal. I've beat every tower. I finished, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much anything that can be done other than just specifically breeding specific ones for speed or attack or things like that. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with Pal World. Not really anything else to do.
Get a heckin' good sleep.
Get a good night's sleep, Ruda. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit before you go to bed. Time to do 1/4 of the things you were talking about. Woohoo! Maybe just drink some water before you go to sleep. And you brush your teeth. Drink some of that water. You can do 2 of the 3. 2 of the 4. If you run to the bathroom, that could be your exercise also. You're just really getting it all done. Nice. I'm going to get 100% caught and then breed for PvE raids. Yeah, I mean, I have some pretty good pals. But yeah, I'll let them add more, you know, give it a break. Pretty much doing exactly what they said to do. Play it a little bit, take some breaks, chill for a bit. That was a while ago though, you know. We beat that, and then I went and played Helldivers, and I've more or less finished Helldivers at this point. I've done every difficulty. Actually, I have one more difficulty I need to do. There's like 9 difficulties, and I still haven't completed Helldive. And then I'll need to do. I'm not max level, but I'm the max level that where you stop unlocking stuff. I'm not planning to play Last Epoch. People have been asking about that. It's kind of a Diablo type game. Those aren't my favorite types, but my main reason is I asked a couple friends who are playing it. They said it has server issues, and that it was a little too easy. Which I already thought Diablo was pretty easy. So if they're saying it's easier than Diablo, then there's not really any point for me. Oh wait, I might be thinking of something different. We might be thinking about something different here. I'm thinking about is it not in there? Yeah, we're thinking the same. Last Epoch. Yeah. This Diablo type game. When you said, can you play Switch games on stream? I thought you were saying like, it's a Switch game. I'm like, oh, is it a Switch game? I'm definitely thinking something else. I kind of can play Switch games on stream. I've had troubles getting it to work. But I've done it before. But I have all the Zeldas that I'm playing currently. I'm right now very close to finishing Twilight Princess. That's been a pretty long game so far. After I finish Twilight Princess, next week, we're going to finish Final Fantasy VII Remaster, and then play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth when that comes out. That'll be my plan. Play that on stream. So I can actually be caught up on the Final Fantasy VII stuff. Rather do that before spoilers and everything hits. Yep, I played Advanced War. I played the one on DS, the first one, or maybe Advanced War 2. It's a long time ago, though. It's a cute art style. I like that kind of. It's sort of an anime art style with tanks and things. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice game. Haven't played the one for Switch. Just too many games, really. You know, there's just so many games. I try to cover like as many as I can. I've got a lot of indie developers that have sent me games to play that are in my inbox. One of them, the developer sent me their game and asked if I'd be willing to do an interview if I was interested. Like, they said, hey, if you want, we'll join you on stream and talk about our game. And they're the ones that, Soma Games, they're the people that made Redwall into a video game. If you guys know the Redwall books by Brian Jocks. Yeah, so I mean, got a lot on my games list. I'm still planning to play every Zelda. I'm planning on beating every Zelda. This will be the 11th Zelda. You know? So once I finish this one, I'll have more than half of the Zeldas finished. There's only 20. Only 20 Zeldas I gotta finish. It's a lot. It's a lot to do. But that's always been a goal for me. I've always wanted to go back and play every Zelda. It's kind of a game I grew up with, so. Yeah. Anyway, it's getting late. I don't want to push this off too long. On Saturdays, we do a thing called Games and God. And basically, it is for people that have never read the Bible, never been to a church, or maybe just don't really feel like they'd fit in at a church, or, you know, whatever, but who would be willing to just read a chapter and discuss while I play this silly cleaning game. So far, we've gone through, man, a lot, because we've been doing that for almost 4 years now. Crazy to think about. But the conversations are always really good, so. My stream has looked a lot different than it did when I first started. I've done a lot of different things. But we've pretty much always done Games and God. Yeah. Today we're in Romans 14. I accidentally just closed it. Pin message. And Romans 14. So this isn't like a sermon or anything. I haven't read it ahead of time. It's literally just gonna be a, you know, read through it and discuss together kind of a thing. But this chapter is about criticism and why you should be careful about criticism. Which I think there's a lot of criticism nowadays. It's pretty easy to find. It can be hard to know what the difference is between good criticism and bad criticism. When to listen to you don't want to listen to everything everybody says, but you also don't want to ignore everything everybody says. It's the problem with YouTube comments, right? You get negative comments, you get good comments. You can't just ignore all the bad comments. How to step away. Have you played Pikmin? Yes. I played Pikmin 1. I haven't played any of the other ones. I've watched somebody play some of the newer one that came out on the Switch, but I haven't personally played it yet. Let me pray. I think praying is a good way to get our heart in the right spot before anytime we read. So I'll pray and then we'll talk, okay? Dear Heavenly Father, God, I pray as we read through this chapter that we'll hear what it is that you're saying, that we'll understand what it is that we should pull from it. We won't try to add extra meaning where it doesn't exist. We'll understand the context of the people that wrote this and why. I pray that it wouldn't just be words on a page, but it would actually have actionable steps we can take to change our lives for the better. That we would see ourselves as people who want to help others, want to see other people win. That if we do criticize, it's with the right heart, with the right intentions, and that we'd also understand when we should or shouldn't accept criticism. God, I love you. I trust you. I thank you and praise you. It's in your name, Jesus, I pray. Amen. Okay. So this is Romans 14, written by Paul. My understanding, from what I've been told, is that he's not yet in jail, but perhaps, or would be close to transferring, almost to go to Rome, where he would then be in jail. Something like this. He says at the beginning here, accept other believers who are weak in faith. Okay. And don't argue with them about what they think is right or wrong. Wow. I think right there, we've already hit on like, we've already hit on a, quite a topic. Accept other believers who are weak in the faith or new in the faith. New believers. And do not spend all your time arguing about who's right or who is wrong. I feel like that's a verse I'll probably end up quoting on Twitter at some point. There are so many people that the second somebody's like, yeah, I'm a Christian now, everybody just like just wants to go to the comment section, destroy them. Like, yeah, well, this person actually, their theology is pretty bad because blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah. Happens. It do be happening. Verse 2. For instance, one person believes it's all right to eat anything. Oh man, they're gonna come for me right now. One person believes it's all right to eat anything, but another believer with a sensitive conscience will eat only vegetables. Hey, that's me. Those who feel free to eat anything must not look down on those who don't, and those that don't eat certain foods must not condemn those that do, for God has accepted them. Who are you to condemn somebody, for you to condemn someone else's servant? Their own master will judge whether they stand or fall. And with the Lord's help, they will stand and receive his approval. In the same way, some think one day is more holy than the other day. Probably talking about, well, at the time they might have been talking about Saturday, but Sunday, whatever they think is the day. While others think every day is alike. You should each be concerned that whichever day you choose is acceptable. Man, I literally had somebody join my chat one time, and I told him that Sunday is the day that I don't stream because it's my Sabbath. It's the day that I rest. It's the day that I don't think about work, you know? And he got so heated saying it has to be on Saturday, and that, you know, you're like, I mean, he was really mad about it. He was really, really mad about it. He was like, you're ignoring the Bible. You're not listening to what God says. Like he was like, it has to be Saturday. Saturday is the real day. And you're not a real Christian if you don't do your rest day on Saturday. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. I've never heard somebody like, I even said, hey, can we just respectfully agree to disagree? And he was like, no, no, we cannot. It was very interesting. Haven't seen that guy since. But wow, I wish I knew this verse then, because I would have for sure thrown this at him. It's literally talking exactly about that situation. But this is talking about other things as well. Next time, just tell them that all leap years have made the calendar off, so Sunday is no longer the true Saturday anymore. Yeah, he was just. I just felt like he was just mad to be mad. I honestly, you know, I was like, whatever. All right, dude. So I had heard that argument before, but I never heard anybody like outside of people just acting like they're mad about it. I never heard somebody actually be mad about it, but he was very mad about it. It made him very angry that I said, yeah, whatever day you take your Sabbath on, as long as you rest, You know, the Sabbath is for man, not for God. So, yeah. Just take your day of rest whenever you need to. But I think it is important that you do take a day to rest. He did not like that. But, I guess I'll just read this again. In some way, some think one day is holier than another, while others think every day is alike. You should each be fully convinced that whichever day you choose is acceptable. Those who worship the Lord on a special day do it to honor him. Those who eat any kind of food do so to honor the Lord, since they give thanks to God before eating it. And those who refuse to eat certain foods also want to please the Lord and give thanks to God. For we don't live for ourselves or die for ourselves. If we live, it's to honor the Lord, and if we die, it's to honor the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord. Christ died and rose again for this very purpose, to be Lord both of the living and of the dead. The point here isn't what day is the holy day. You know, it's not the point. The point is, don't argue about it. If you've got somebody who is like, especially if somebody is newer to the faith, this is their first time really thinking about these things, don't argue about it. Don't worry about it. But even if they're not, like, yeah, it's not that important. It's not worth arguing over. Your criticism is not helpful here. This also pertains to when you should fast and when you should not. Yeah, what to eat in a fast and whatnot. These things aren't specified in Scripture, right? Yeah, I would say. Okay, so let's unpack this, right? Let's go a little bit further. This is not saying never discuss anything that you disagree on. If we had something that we disagreed on while we were doing this, and people said, hey, we want to talk about this, and I said, sorry guys, there's a verse, Romans 14. It says specifically, no criticism. We can't talk about this. That's not what this is saying. That's not what it's saying. There is a difference, and I probably shouldn't even have to point it out. There's a difference between criticism and discussion. There's a difference between arguments and discussion. Like, this is saying at the very beginning, accept other believers who are weak in faith and don't argue with them about what they think is right or wrong. Don't argue about it. It's not worth it right now. Now, if you have a relationship with that person and that person trusts you as a spiritual authority and asks you a question like, hey, I was curious what you think about such and such thing. Yeah, these aren't bad, right? I kind of wonder what the purpose of this tower is. Like, why does it exist? I don't know why it's up here. But, you know, whatever. That's not my job. My job is just to clean it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Is like, don't argue. Don't just argue with people. You know, how real do we want to get? How real do we want to get on this? The reality is there are things that I believe that I think are very clear in the Bible. You know, I read the Bible and I go, yeah, that seems pretty clear. And yet there are other people I disagree. It's not an argument until there's two of us fighting about it, right? It's interesting, actually, speaking on that. It starts as a criticism, and then once you engage, it becomes an argument. That's interesting. Somebody will criticize you, right? But it's not an argument until you engage. See that a lot with Jesus. There's a lot of people that just want to argue.
We're having soft tacos later.
They just want to fight. And sometimes Jesus engages, probably because he can tell their hearts and when he feels like it would be worth engaging. And times where he does not, where it's just people really ridiculing him and he just kind of leaves the situation. Like, yeah, it's not really worth right now, actually. I think sometimes people, hi, Happy. I hope you're well. I love that emote. Like, there are some people who think that choosing to not argue about topics that they think are very clear in the Bible, they think that that's cowardice. Like, whoa, dude, that person said something you didn't believe about the Bible and you didn't engage them. Wow. I'll pray that you get some courage so that you can, fight the good fight. You can actually, that way you can really, next time you can really go all in. Oh wow, that person's really willing to like speak their mind on the internet. I wish I had courage like that person. That is way more common for people than to say, dang, like that person, somebody said something that they didn't agree with and they didn't say anything about it. They didn't fight them on it. And it's like, we're like, oh, that person's probably a coward. They're probably too afraid to say anything. It's like, no, no, not most of the time. It happens to me every day. I would love to say more, and yet I realize that, let's go back to the very first verse in this. Accept other believers who are weak in faith, and don't argue with them about what they think is right or wrong. It's pretty simple, There's a lot of things right now, a lot of things that Christians believe that I think is very clear in the Bible. And you know what? I don't argue with it because I go, the reality is this isn't something that just because I think it's clear doesn't mean that they do. And the reality is if I can't have a conversation with them that is not going to be an argument, but it's actually just going to be a discussion, then it's not really worth my time. I love that, by the way. I love discussions. I love when I can have a friend that I trust has done their research, that they're actually prepared to have this conversation, and we can both go at it as being respectful of one another's beliefs and views on the Bible, because I think this should only really happen between Christians. I don't really want to go into like lengthy debates about the Bible with somebody that about specific topics on the Bible. If we're talking about the authenticity of the Bible or why I think it's true or why I think God's real, things like that, we can absolutely have those conversations. But if it's like somebody who doesn't believe the Bible wants to like try to use the Bible to convince me of something, I'm like, yeah, this is probably just not like, It's probably not a conversation I'm wanting to engage in. And that is very fine. Actually, it's more than fine. It's what it says to do. So yeah, I think there are times where you gotta just know that what the person is doing is criticizing you, and be able to call it what it is, and say, if I engage further, meaning I defend myself, this will no longer be just criticism, it will become an argument. And I will have a part in that argument because I went in for the defense. I can just leave it where it's at as criticism, and everyone will know that that is criticism. And that my response or lack of response is enough. Happens in chat. Somebody will say something, I won't acknowledge it, I won't read the comment, I'll just move on. It's not like, oh wow, convenient I didn't read that message. I did read the message. And I decided in that moment, I didn't really want to respond. I didn't actually think it was worth responding to. It was kind of just criticism, and I don't want to argue about it, and so I'm just moving on. It's okay. Yeah, this game's great. I have like 75 hours in this one. I'm cleaning up this fire station. I have 75 hours, but I still don't have the thing I want. A lot of that time, though, is spent while reading the Bible, because I only really play it on Saturdays. We're doing Games and God, so. Making good progress on this, though. Played it once with some Neon White gamers, and it was so fun. Just messing around. Dude, the movement speed in this game is like silly. I've been saying that they need to make this a movement-based game. If they had made kind of a Neon White type game with the same mechanics, I would love it. Because I do so many little jump things where you're only supposed to be able to jump. Like, do you see how high I jumped? And you're only supposed to be able to hit it just right. But if you hit the edges of certain stuff, and you could do little like spins too, they get you to higher places. The parkour is pretty crazy. Yeah, I've been able to like, yep, been a lot of just parkouring in this game. But I have to clean up the rest of this fire station. Yeah, Dylan, on it's just, it is. It doesn't feel like it would be. I definitely look at how much money I have in the game, and I think like, dude, what if I did this in real life? What if I actually went and became a power washer? Then I could have real money. Whoa. But yeah, on Saturdays we read through a chapter of the Bible. We call it Games and God. Just read through a chapter of the Bible while playing a video game. And it's specifically for people that have never read the Bible, never been to a church, like would not feel like they fit in at all.
I dream about cheese.
Is that cheese? Sometimes I dream about cheese. And just discuss it. It's like not a sermon or anything like that. But I read the Bible and it really changed my life. Changed the way I see people and yeah, just like everything, honestly. So we just discuss it. But I know a lot of people that's not like not what they believe or anything like that. So I just open up the table for us to discuss. I'll send you to Jesus. Perfect. Yeah, I discovered the Bible when I was 15. Things changed a lot after that. Now I'm here. Love it. You just kind of like pick it up or what? It's a hard book to read. Like if you just sit down and open it and be like, oh yeah, let's read the Bible. Kind of tough. It's a lot of context stuff in there as well. I'm missing something like important on this ground floor and I'm not sure what it is. Ayo, ayo. Could just, oh, here we go. About to say. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yoink. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, I think we got a good like chunk out of that. Continue at verse 10. And a different culture, true. Yeah, it's definitely difficult just like to just sit down and read the Bible because there's a lot of historical differences, a lot of even which translation you read changes things because they're going to put emphasis on certain things. If you don't know like why certain things are said, it's a lot. There's a lot that can go into it. Makes it kind of hard. But it helps that we can just discuss. Helps me anyway. Helps me to kind of understand better. This is 10. So why do you condemn another believer? Why do you look down on another believer? Remember, if we all stand before the judgment seat of God, for the scripture says, as surely as I live, says the Lord, every knee will bend to me, and every tongue will declare allegiance to God. Yes, each of us will give a personal account to God. So let's stop condemning each other. So maybe we should be less critical of one another. And focus more on, lifting each other up. Let's stop condemning each other. Decide instead to live in such a way that you will not cause another believer to stumble and fall. What does that look like? What does that mean? Decide to live in such a way as to not cause another believer to stumble and fall. What is that? What is that? What does that look like? I mean, I think some people would say, well, I'm being critical of this person because I want them to change their ways. I'm trying to keep them from stumbling and falling. I don't want them doing, whatever they're doing because I don't think it's right. And so, so that's what I'm trying to do. What do you think it means? Thank you for the lurk, Baited. I don't have like an answer. I'm just legitimately asking. I'm not really sure. Sorry, I got pulled away again. Fatherhood, am I right? Have you played Pikmin? Yes, I've played the first Pikmin. I played it growing up. I haven't played the second one or the third one. Yeah, so what does it mean? What does it mean to not live in such a way that you cause others to stumble and fall? Fine, I guess I'll answer. Although I don't really know. That's what I was asking. I feel like if it's in the context specifically of criticism, it's sort of like it can feel like a lot all at once, you know? I think that's kind of maybe part of it. Is just, if we're talking about people that are weaker in their faith.
Thanks for the raid. You have been awesome.
Dom Voyage. Thank you so much for the raid.
Fine, I guess you are my little pod chair.
Thanks for the raid.
Come here.
How are you doing? How was your stream? Ooh, my friend J8 Fox, who is our he's our little AI buddy, actually has written you an introduction here. So let's find out a little bit more about Dom Voyage. If you could do me a favor, tell me one thing that you love about them.
Yo, Jake.
Just pick one thing in the chat,
Another satisfied
and
customer.
I'll read those here in a second, okay?
Join Don Voyage, the coziest Christian streamer on a countdown to their 25th birthday. Oh, happy birthday. From the Gaggle Squad shenanigans and Goose Game, Goose Goose Duck, to chill Thursday vibes, it's been festive voyage. Cap off celebration of a 12-hour marathon with laughs, games, and wholesome fun as they bid farewell to being 24. Ooh, it's a party every day in Dom's world. Don't miss out.
Nice. Nice. I love it. Well, let me just follow from here.
Yo, Jake.
How do
a new
I
follower.
follow?
Another satisfied customer.
How do I follow? How do I follow on here? Oh, there it goes. Thank you for commenting, so I can click your name and give you a follow. There we go. Welcome back, Dom. The birthday girl is here and brought cake. I love the dancing toothless. Yes, please. Yeah, I agree with what you said, Phantom. I'm gonna catch back up on that here in a second.
You're my friends now. We're having soft tacos
Hi, Catherine. Good to see you. Hi, Lion. How are you? That's good as well, Garrett. Hi, Wild. I love her kind and competitive nature. Competitive, huh? It's always a fun time hanging out with her. She's a sweetie. What games are you competitive in? We are... Hi, Shy. Yeah, we're doing a thing called Games and God. I do them every Saturday. Been doing them for about 4 years now. Basically, we just read through a chapter of the Bible while playing a video game and discuss. Discussion's really important to me. I've found it's been the really most helpful thing for my faith is being able to talk with other people who have differences of opinions or see things differently than I do. And I like sermons, but I think that discussion is downplayed a little bit too much sometimes. So that's what we do. We just talk about it. Read a chapter and talk about it. Not a sermon. It's for people that have never read the Bible, never been to a church, but feel like they'd be interested in having those kinds of conversations with people that are respectful, that they know are not going to try to push a belief on them or whatever. So we're playing Power Washing Simulator while we do it. This is a classic. It's a very relaxing game, kind of visual and audio ASMR. Yeah. I can be a little competitive at times. What games are you competitive about? I tried not to. Finishing the birthday stream. It was a lot of fun. Happy birthday. Oh, here, we get to sing the happy birthday song to you.
Happy birthday from all of us to you. Happy birthday. We forgot the rest of the words. Hey!
Happy birthday. Love a good happy birthday. So the current conversation is talking about, we're reading Romans 14, and it's talking specifically about the dangers of criticism. When you should be cautious of criticizing people. It's specifically talking about... Whoa. Thank you for that. Whatever that was. Thanks, Peepo. Yeah. Only on Twitch. We're talking about talking about when to criticize and when not to criticize. Specifically, new believers, like people that are just starting out in their faith, and then people want to go real hard on critiquing every little thing, that they're dealing with. And this is saying, man, if you get somebody who's just starting out, like, just chill. Just chill out a little bit. You're not helping by being so critical of every little thing they do. Chill out, bro. Take it easy, man. I'm out. The very first verse in this says, accept other believers who are weak in faith and don't argue with them about what they think is right or wrong. Man, like, I'm gonna need to have that on a copy paste on my desktop for everything that I see on Twitter. I feel like it's just nonstop criticism on Twitter. And it's saying, maybe don't, maybe chill. And now we were saying it's specifically talking about arguing, and it's okay if we have a conversation between two people that are okay with having those kinds of conversations, but like, my gosh, bro, stop being so critical. Hi, Zelix. Hope you're well. Love you, homie. Yeah, there's a Warhammer Power Wash. Yep. Power Wash Simulator, Power Lift Simulator. You move that whole scaffolding with ease. I feel like real life, I could do this. I have a lot of faith in myself. Yeah, I could do this real life. Even if it doesn't have wheels. Bet. Thank you for the alert, Catherine. I'm doing well, Dusk. I hope you're doing well too. We played Party Animals. And Pummel Party. I see why the playful competitive then. That makes sense. I get competitive when playing Party Animals too. I love you guys, but if we are on a plane and we're both animals, I am headbutting you and throwing you into the spinning blades. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Yep. Let me see what Garrett said here, because I think this was... Well, actually, let me scroll up even more here and read it. Phantom said, don't crush their spirit their willingness to try by making them feel hopeless. I agree with that. I was asking, what does that mean that we should not, yeah, see how did the wording go here? Yes, each of us are going to give a personal account to God, so let's stop condemning each other. Decide instead to live in such a way that you will not cause another believer to stumble and fall. And no, it's not talking about stumbling and falling in party animals. I understand the confusion there. It's talking about some other thing, and that's why Venom was adding in there, yeah, maybe just don't crush their spirits, like their willingness to try by making them feel hopeless. If you're just going to keep being critical of every single thing they do, like, man, they're not going to want to even try. I think that's good. And then also Garrett added stuff here. When you do things that set a bad example or enable others to sin, you're on the hook. New believers can easily stumble over things they are enabled to do. For example, if you drink alcohol around that person who has a problem with it, you may cause them to stumble and fall into drinking when they shouldn't. Right. And if they're drinking, then they're going to be stumbling and falling, right? Because they're drunk. And that's what drunk people do. That's what it means, probably. Probably not. Probably something else. Yes, I agree with that. But this is specifically talking about, like, if you have a new believer, don't be super critical of them. And immediately says, don't live in such a way that, So maybe it's both. Maybe it's like, set an example. Don't be so critical, but instead just set an example. Rather than being that person that's like, you're a Christian now, you can't drink. It should probably be more like, just be that example for that person. Just be that example for that person of what it looks like. Yeah. It's in there. It's in there somewhere. Going to lurk as I de-stream and then head to bed. Makes sense? Yeah, sounds like you had a long stream. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Dom, sleep well. Thank you again for the raid. I'll have to, I'll get you back sometime. Definitely will have to check out when you're live. I want to see this competitiveness. Woe to the world because of the things that cause people to sin. Such things must come, but woe to the man through whom they come. I think somebody could read that and then use that as an excuse to be, somebody could read that same verse. Two people could read it differently, right? Somebody could read that verse and say, yeah, see, woe to the person who allows it. And so I can't allow you to sin anymore. I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to go all ham on you. Like, man, I'm a make sure that you, I don't know. I'm gonna push it even harder now. I don't want you to mess up, and I don't like what you're doing, so I'm gonna be real critical of what you do. And it's out of love. That happens. People think like that. People say, well, I'm gonna be very critical of you out of love. I don't want you messing up, And trust me, God's gonna be much harder on you than I will, so I'm actually doing this. I'm actually doing you a favor by being so critical. And this is saying, definitely don't think that way. So,
thank you. You love me. You really love me.
Hi, Glenn. Glenn, thank you for the Tangia. I hope you're doing well. so good. Sup, Squawk? Yes, because stumbling blocks can cause them to lose their faith if you represent Christ in a bad way. I agree. I feel like there's got to be something else, though, just based on the timing of this, what he's saying. Because he's saying... It says, stop condemning each other. Decide instead to live in such a way that you will not cause another believer to stumble and fall. Okay, so maybe, so it's an antithesis. That's a word I haven't used in a while. Like, rather than condemning somebody, I'm going to live as an example of how somebody should live. Which is really echoed. Like, that's really echoed too, though, in saying people kind of simplify the judge not, lest you be judged. But it says, you know, that you got to worry about the log in your eye. But it says remove the log. Removing the log in your eye, so then you'll see clearly, so you can help your brother and sister, you know? How do you do that without critique? Brothers, if someone is caught in sin, you who are spiritual should restore him gently. Right. Restoring we're doing that gently is definitely different than being critical. There's a difference in there for sure. But watch yourselves, or you may be tempted. Carry each other's burdens. In this way, you fulfill the law of Christ. Yeah, that worked. Yoink. Yeah. Power wash me, high road. I feel like that would actually hurt so bad. I feel it's meant to say those of new faith, not pester them. Right. It pushes people away when you just start rattling on about all the things that are messing up and telling them to do better. I totally agree. Instead of simply show them an easier path to self-improve. I really like the way you worded that. Yeah, I totally agree. Feels like an older Zelda game. Yeah, I kind of feel like it feels like it's a less good Tunic, which is also kind of Zelda inspired. I do like the art style though. I don't really think Death's Door is bad. It's just, it annoyed me so much I can't go back and play it again. I was so annoyed, I was like, I give up. I figured out what I was missing, but it annoyed me a lot when I figured it out. Someday I'll show you where I got stuck. So the context of this is believing Jews were returning to Rome after 10 years of being kicked out by the emperor. Jews founded and led the church, then were kicked out. Upon returning, there were a lot of disputes with new Gentile ways of living, in and outs, for being a faithful follower. Are we talking about the church in Rome? Is that what the context is here, Garrett? This is to prevent those distractions. Paul wanted them to be unified so they would continue building kingdom together. Yeah. Yeah, for Romans. Yeah, it's I just feel like this is just very relevant. Like very relevant set of thinking today. It's a lot of people who they just currently believe different things than you do. And if you're gonna make all of this requirement for them when they're first starting out, it's sort of like we say, yeah, come as you are, you know, all are welcome. And then there is a point where we, like, as a Christian, you should be trying to figure out what the Bible says, trying to figure out what God says for your life. Like, all that stuff is important. As it's obviously like, it's not saying just ignore truth. Don't just act like it's not important stuff or to minimize what the Bible says. But when someone's first starting out, like, if you're gonna give them all of these requirements and things that they have to believe and understand and do and whatever, you're just gonna burn somebody out. You're just gonna bum somebody out. Trying to understand what all the rules that you think are really important. It's just saying, just chill, bro. Chill a little bit. Power washing somebody would actually kill them, by the way. Depends what mode you use, I feel like. Like this, you know, this probably wouldn't kill you. You're probably fine. It's probably okay. This? That's a gun, bro. I'm gonna make you a Halloween decoration if I'm using this thing on you. %99 complete. This is where it gets is the hard part. Come as you are. Oh, but we have rules. Yeah. Yep. That's what happens. Now there is the difficulty, because there is a point, like there's parts in the Bible that are very clear that you should discuss with people inside the church, like things that we say are important. And yeah, I don't know. You know, at what point does that happen? So I think this is talking about new believers, people that are first starting out. It says weak in their faith, people that they don't really know what they believe, you know? Just chill a little bit. And I think that the main difference is criticizing is like talking at somebody, and having a discussion is talking with somebody. I don't need to talk down to you for really any reason. I'm not better than you. And that's what talking down to somebody looks like. Are you talking with somebody? That person has questions. They trust you. They're willing to ask those questions, and you discuss it together. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I guess I need to do the roof now. If I could do it from here, it'd be crazy. Broke all my legs. Subtract it from my pay. Definitions of what actions are sin is a big one too. Of course it is. I'd say that's maybe the biggest one, the most common. Where one person believes this or that is a sin, another person says, well, you know, I don't know. I just became a Christian. I don't know what I believe about any of that yet. I haven't determined my theology, if you will. If you want to make it whatever. And if you're the type of person that can't deal with that, then you probably should just remove yourself from the situation. Also to be clear, these are disputable matters. Yeah, if someone's denying Jesus is the Messiah, need to take that more seriously. Yeah, like that's different than, you know, being weak in the faith. That person's like, they don't have the same faith, which is, you know, maybe even more so then in that case. Like, they don't have the same faith, then you treat it like that. And what does the Bible say for people that don't have the same faith, you know? Maybe even more so. Definitions, what actions? Yeah, read that one. Listening and agreeing where you can while presenting your understanding is a good way towards seeking mutual truth seeking. And that's, I think, a big part of it. Is our goal to both try to find what is true? Or do we just want to be right? Some people just want to be right. Brendan, next week, I'm planning to try to finish Remake before Rebirth comes out. I gotta finish Twilight Princess first. Three things left. Spotlights, 2 office walls, and a fire exit base. I'm playing Rebirth. I think I'm going to play it when it comes out. I'm going to try to get it like so that I can play it at launch. Oh, I have to wait a while before it comes to PC. That's right. Dang, it's going to be on PlayStation. I forgot it was PlayStation exclusive at the beginning. Well, rip that idea. Dude, if somebody spoils me before it comes to PC, I'm going to throw hands. No, I didn't play the original. I played a ways into the original. I didn't get that far. I'm farther in the remake than I was in the original, but yeah, I just didn't really like the turn-based. Cloud will be in the game. Oh gosh, dang it! I'm already getting spoilers. Next, you're gonna tell me like Sephiroth is gonna be in there too. Finally caught Grisbolt. Let's go. Did he do it on one of the secret islands? You can also hatch him, but you said caught, so I'm assuming it's a secret island. Thought that's the only way. Technically, there's 3 ways. 1, you can catch him on the secret island. 2, you can hatch him. I don't hatch until caught either. 3, there was a glitch that they might have patched now where you could catch the pals of the trainers. You could catch the trainers' pals. So if you fight the Grisbolt fight, you can actually catch that trainer's Grisbolt. But yeah, I think they patched that. Office walls. There was a pretty surprising spoiler shown in the final trailer for Rebirth, but you won't understand it. That makes sense. It's a lot I won't understand. Is this the spotlight? What spotlight? What spotlight are we talking about? It says spotlights. Like, is this a spotlight? It says spotlight. Or catch the trainer, right? Yep. Let's move on to 14. I think 14 is good. I like the conversation about the stumble and fall stuff. But 14 says, I know and am convinced on the authority of the Lord Jesus that no food in and of itself is wrong to eat. I mean, already right there, he would get super flamed. He would get super duper flamed. By the way, I'm a vegetarian and I agree with this. But at the time, this would have been pretty controversial as a Jew. It's not really a thing you say. Oh yeah, everything's fine to eat. Whoa. What do you mean anything? Nothing in and of itself is wrong to eat, but if someone believes it's wrong, then for that person, it is wrong. If another believer is distressed by what you eat, you are not acting in love if you eat it. Don't let your eating ruin someone for whom Christ died. Interesting there. Basically, he's saying he's actually giving kind of a follow-up to his deciding to live in such a way that you don't cause another believer to stumble. That's essentially what he's doing here. In his case here, he's saying, I think that for me, it is actually totally okay for me to eat whatever. But I'm not going to do it when I'm near somebody else who struggles with that. Because if for them it's a sin, it's something that they don't think that's what God told them to do. I don't want to I don't want to cause problems for that person. I don't want them thinking certain things that they normally wouldn't. Like, I would say, let me just make a couple examples. If for you, you can drink, but you don't drink to get drunk, and that's okay for you, doesn't cause problems, then that's fine. But if you're with your buddy and your buddy is a known alcoholic and you order beers for everybody because you're like, yeah, no worries, like, I mean, I'm going to drink. I'm not going to drink to get drunk. I don't do that. But your buddy's like, dude, man, I don't even know how to like drink in moderation or whatever. Yeah, you're probably starting to get down that path. If for you, you're like, no, like, cursing doesn't matter at all. This is one for me. Honestly, when I read the Bible and I look through all the things, I don't really have problem with cursing. Most of the people in my family curse. It's not really like, it's not a problem for me. What is a problem is when you use curse words to hurt other people's feelings. When you curse words to put people down. That to me is bad. I would rather somebody use a curse word and build somebody up than to use words like crap and dumb and just basically call somebody like really non like PG-13 totally fine curse words, but their goal is to tear them down. If you're like, yo, you did an effing awesome job, I'd be like, yeah, I would rather that than somebody that's just like, yo, you're an idiot. And you're like, well, idiot isn't really a curse word, but yeah, that kind of hurt my feelings. Does that make sense? So for me, curse words are not really a stumbling block. It's not something that really, it's not a problem really for me. However, I'm a family-friendly streamer. I don't use curse words on stream. And the reason is because I don't really want to be a stumbling block for other people. If other people, that is something that, it's a problem, I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to accidentally cause somebody else to stumble by something that's not really that big of a deal for me. And so I decide to refrain. Even when I feel like I should. Even when something happens that I think deserves a curse word. I decide for other people's sake as much as anything, to not. And I would say there's a similar thing for if you don't struggle with, like, I don't know. I don't know how, like, silly some of the examples are, but maybe for you, watching anime is just, like, doesn't mean anything. Hey!
Nothing beats a
jelly-filled donut.
So many sound effects that make our sounds. That's so great. Pokelaws, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate you. We're actually just going through Games in God. We read through a chapter of the Bible while playing a video game. A little different. That's what we do on Saturdays. But let me read what my co-host J8 Fox has written for you here.
Hey, Foxy friends! Meet Pokelaws, the pun-slinging streamer who's all about good vibes and giggles. They're a shield portion of positivity in Fortnite battles, sharing faith and funnies. From Jedi jokes to donut-loving turtles, their streams are a Sunday school of laughs. Tune in for family-friendly gaming and a chance to be part of their coffee mug clan.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I now see I now see which of those words cued the sound effects. I have lots of sound effects that are hidden. Yeah, I have lots of sound effects that are hidden when you say certain words, like donuts is definitely one of them. So yeah, that's what happened. But it's so great. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate you. How was the games? Were you doing some fork knife today by chance?
Sometimes I dream about
That is
cheese.
so cool. Yo, you know what's crazy is that you are so cool. So cheesy. Sometimes I dream about cheese. It was fun, and I was. Man, I'm not very good at Fortnite, and I don't play it very often. I've played 3,000 games. Let's just get that out of the way. I play a lot of different games, so Fortnite is small on that list. But I did put enough time in to get it platinum, I think, this season, just to, like, say I did it. Like, oh, wow, like, okay. I can play it like a platinum level. I was a few games. I probably could still go back and do it. I'm like a few games off of diamond just to say like, yeah, I did it. I'm a diamond, But yeah, it's starting to get sweaty where I'm at now, and I'm not sure if I want all that. So I haven't gone back to do it. Heck yeah. But on Saturdays, we do a thing called Games in God. We read through a chapter of the Bible while playing a video game and just discuss. The goal is for people that have never read the Bible, never been to a church, but are willing to talk about stuff. Not that one. Oh, it's this one. It's this one. Ah. Got it. Okay. Done. Done. Only 2 office walls remain. What are office walls? Is this an office over here? This is a drill tower. Oh, that's what it's for? Oh, it's a drill tower. It's so they can practice running up and down the stairs. Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha. I'm not good, but I'm diamond. Well, I mean, okay, I have good aim. I don't know how, I can't build to save my life. Can I use Foxbot's description of me? Absolutely. Yes. However, whenever. This is the roof. Fire exit. Okay. Office wall is here. It's gotta be one of these. We're close. Is it this wall? No. What wall am I missing? All of these walls are not dirty. There's 2 I'm missing. 2 I'm missing. They're in here somewhere. These aren't office walls. Oh, whatever. I'll find them. All right, so we're in Romans, right? This customer's so picky. I know, right? Well, now I'm being the one picky because I want 5 stars. I want a 5-star review. I must 100% this. I'm at 99. Can't leave it like this. Not like this. I'm missing something though. It drives me crazy. So we're reading Romans 14. We've read the rest of Romans up till this point. And it's at the top of the stream chat if you'd like to follow along. And we're just discussing. So it says here in verse, let's see. Yeah, we're on 16. It says, then you will not be criticized for doing something you believe is good. For the kingdom of God is not a matter of what we eat or drink, but of living a life of goodness and peace and joy in the Holy Spirit. If you serve Christ with this attitude, you will please God, and others will approve of you too. So then, let us aim for harmony in the church and try to build each other up. Let us aim for harmony in the church and try to build each other up. Oh. For a second. For a second, I saw something. Was I seeing through the floor? No melody, just harmony. Exactly. Now you've got it. I saw something that needed cleaned. For a second, while I was up on the top, I was seeing through the floor or something. One of these windows? No, it's an office wall. I'm losing it. It reminds me, there's this verse that says, as long as it depends on you, live peaceably with all people. Something like that. As far as it depends on you, like, you can't, not everybody is, oh, it's here. Ah, that's why. I was seeing that little piece in between. Holy cow. Look, that's the part that I miss, is the last part right down there. Oh my goodness. Three. Wow. Great. A friend of mine is in a tough, scary family situation. Would you pray she's safe and that she's wise to be able to stay safe? Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it, Samus. Dear Heavenly Father, God, I pray for Samus's friend and for the situation that she's in. God, I pray that you watch over her and watch over her mind too. You give her wisdom as far as what it means to be gentle as doves but wise as serpents, that she'll be able to be safe with her family. So sad that that's a prayer that we have to pray. Family should be the safe place for us. We should be able to be ourselves and not worry with family. And so I pray for her family too. God, whatever's going on with them, yeah, God, I pray that you just protect her and take care of the stuff that she can't. And you're a big God, and I trust you. God, I love you. I thank you and praise you. It's in your name, Jesus, we pray these things. Amen. From From 1218, if possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Yeah, okay, I got it pretty close there. Yeah, you know, sometimes the peace does not depend on me. Oh, I love these little, we get to just watch it all clean. Look how I cleaned up the top. That's the camera angle I was hoping for right there, man. $1,100 feels good, man. That took like 2 or 3 weeks. We only do it like on Saturdays, but you know, pretty nice. Pretty nice little chunk there. Yeah, I would, you know, it leans into something I say a lot. We can't change our situation. There's a lot of things about our situations we can't change, unfortunately. There's a lot of things that I wish were changeable. And just are not. Some of them eventually can, right? You're like in a job that you don't like. Sure, you could quit, but like you need it to live, right? So in the long run, a year or two from now, you could quit your job and then you'd change your situation. But the reality is tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up and you're going to have to talk to that person that's at your job. You know, like that is just the reality.
Now. We're having soft tacos later.
Thank you very much, Poke Laws. I appreciate you. I gotta go. I hope you have a blessed stream. Always an honor, Radio, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I need some of you guys to stay awake longer so that I can watch your streams. Because I'm up pretty late. Or maybe super early streams. I need some like 6 a.m. streamers so I can raid into more of you guys. Just let me know. If you're ever doing a 6 a.m. stream, just let me know so I know where to find you. This is choice. 6 a.m. The best. Will do. Okay, thank you. Hi, Jazzy. Nice. Okay. Blazemut's a really good one. Use Blazemut for your mining. He's got level 4 mining. And some fire stuff as well. Have you tried being awake at a different time? No. No. Never. $10 a.m. best I can do. Sometimes I stay awake till 10 a.m. Yeah, if I'm awake long enough. 10 a.m. could work. Yeah. This is good, you know? The thing with the situations that you can't change. There's a lot of situations you can't change. But you can always choose your response. You can always choose your response. This is something I've been ruminating on. I don't know why ruminating came to my mind, but it did, and I went with it. Something I've been ruminating on lately is the idea of joy. There's a verse that says, it gets translated a lot as always have a response for the joy you have, and it gets translated more often as the hope you have. So is joy and hope similar? I think, maybe. Maybe there's something without hope, it's impossible to have joy. You need to have hope that things can get better, or hope that it will continue if it's going well. Like that expectation, eager expectation for the things in the future, I feel like is related. Another thing is happiness. I think more often than not, people think about joy as being long-term happiness. short-term happiness. People say you can't buy happiness. I always say you definitely can. If I buy donuts, I'm for sure happy, but those donuts don't last, and then my happiness doesn't last. So happiness is temporary. Long-term happiness, what does that look like? Maybe that's something with joy. There's a quote I recently came upon that said, joy, the things that, it's not the things that you're, the things that cause gratitude are not joy, but joy is the things that you, see, how did it word it? It was like the things you're thankful for. Oh, I can't remember. Can't remember how it worded it. I'll pull it up so I don't mess it up because I'll butcher it. Then I can give you the name of the person that quoted it too. It's from Anne Voskamp. And she said, being joyful isn't what makes you grateful. Being grateful is what makes you joyful. So she's directly linking gratitude and joy. And I was thinking about thankfulness. You know, I've thought about that a lot. How in the morning, the first thing I try to do is think of things I'm thankful for. And that's my first prayer, you know, when I get out of bed. It's like, God, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have this bed. If I have things I need to do that day, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have things I can do. I'm thankful that I have the capability of doing them, that I have food that I can eat, that my house is heated for the time, you know. I'm thankful that, like, there's a lot of things to be thankful for, and it really puts my mind in the right spot for being joyous, because my situation is not going to change. Not all at once, not all of this thing, unless I win the lottery. And even then, you know, you gotta wait for the money to get there. Your situation is what it is, but your attitude is immediately changeable. Maybe you've heard somebody say, like, happiness is a smile away. That you can, by smiling, what you're doing is not changing your situation, you're just changing your response. You're deciding to be happy, even though things are bad. And it's not bad to grieve. Grief is still very important. The Bible talks about weeping with those that weep, talks about blessed are those who mourn. Queen Elizabeth II said, grief is the price you pay for love. Like, there's some very important times to grieve, which is very, in the Bible, when it talks about grief, it's talking about death, almost always. And, yeah. But I think your choice on a daily basis to say, I'm going to be thankful, directly impacts joy. And if you have a hard time, in other words, I'm saying I don't necessarily know that joy is a choice. Like, busyness is a choice. You choose to be busy. You could say, I'm not going to do these things. I'm going to not allow that busyness to be in my life. Or stress. Like, stress is usually because you pick all these other things, like busyness, it turns into stress, right? And I think that the product of thankfulness is joy. The more thankful that you can be, the more joyous you will be. But that's hard when you feel like your situation is really bad. It's hard. It's tough. It's tough when you look at your situation and go, I have it worse than other people do. I have it worse than I should. I have it bad. I don't you know, when you say I don't like the way that my life is right now. Any advice for people like that? Any advice if you've been in that situation, or maybe you are currently? How do you live a life of thankfulness? I see this with Paul a lot, since we're reading Romans. Paul says he's thankful for the opportunity to be persecuted. You might look at like, oh man, this guy's just a masochist. But the reality is he's saying like, I'm choosing. I can't choose to be persecuted or not. I'm going to say what needs to be said, but I'm going to choose to be thankful, because the alternative is that I just say, oh, woe is me. So it's not really about masochism or not. It's just, I'm just going to choose to be thankful. What's my alternative? In your hearts, set Christ apart as holy and acknowledge him as Lord. Always be ready to give a logical defense to anyone, who asks you to account for the hope that's in what you do. But do it courteously and respectfully. Yeah, thanks for linking the verses. I don't know where verses are in the Bible, by the way. Very rarely do I. If we've done our study, then maybe I'll know that it's in that chapter or whatever. But most of the time, I don't know where it is, and I just quote. I just quote verses because I'm like, oh, I've read it a couple times, and but I don't know where it is. Something I like to do is have an M&M pack of things I'm grateful for. An M&M pack of things I'm grateful for. What does that look like, Shy? I don't know what that means. One thing I've done on stream in the past.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Is we would go through a thing called Thankful Thursday, and we would write down things that we were thankful for. And let's see if I can find them here. We would just go through the alphabet, A through Z, and write down stuff that we're thankful for. Yeah, here it is. So I would make a little art piece, and then we would write down A through Z something that we're thankful for. So, thankful for art, aspirin, and apples. Birds, Batman, baseball. Cats, cuddles, church. D&D, dogs, donuts. And then we would go back through this list and we would pray, God, I'm thankful for all these things. My life, it's got some problems, but look at all this stuff I have to be thankful for. And we did these for a very long time. I mean, I've got quite a few of these. I think I have 64 of them total. Of just lists of stuff that I'm thankful for. Some of the art, more proud of than others. But this is the one that everybody made their own art, and we opened it for everybody. Yeah, I want to get it so maybe we could maybe I can have it so these are somehow accessible on the stream, or maybe like maybe every hour it could like post another thankful image, things to be thankful for or something. I don't know. But just reading through the list just reminds me there's a lot of things to be thankful for. Omegle, that takes me back. I don't think it exists anymore. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done these. I did just find my tablet pen. This one's one of my favorites. Good VR chat art gallery. Hi, Benser. Before every member, I say something I'm grateful for. Oh, before you eat an M&M? That's an idea. I'd have to come up with like 5 at a time though, because I'm just like shoving those in my mouth. Glad part of some of those. Yeah, these are great. M&M autocorrect? Yeah, I understand. I'd like to have those be accessible somehow. Paul's joy was rooted in the fact that his persecution trials were from sharing the gospel and going to further share the gospel. Yeah, he chose to like he chose to be thankful. He chose to find it's not it's basically silver lining. And I don't like the term silver lining because that makes it sound like it has to be related to what the thing is. Like, oh, you know, my cat was hit by a car. Well, let's try to find the silver lining. There's probably not really one. That just sucks. And it downplays the tragedy and the sadness of the grief that properly deserves to be there for when an animal dies. And it's sad. And it's not good. And it's not, let's try to find a silver lining for this. So I don't really like the term silver lining. But there is a reality of this is the situation that we're in, and I am going to choose my reaction to the situation. It could be there's a good reaction and a bad reaction, and the reality is, even when bad things happen in my life, I'm going to choose to be thankful, regardless of the situation. And it doesn't mean I'm going to downplay it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to act like it didn't happen. it keeps getting brought up in my mind again and again. The fact that Jesus wept. It's the shortest verse in the Bible. It's when his friend, his good friend Lazarus dies. And he knows that he's about to raise him from the dead. It's a heck of a miracle. But he raises Lazarus from the dead. But before he does that, he wept. It says he's crying. And there's lots of other people there who are also crying. And like, I never really thought about it, but like, why? If you know that you're about to raise your friend from the dead, why would you cry? And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, he's willing to have grief. He's not willing to downplay it or to minimize the grief. And it says in the Beatitudes, in his own sermon, that this is, blessed are those who are poor in spirit. Blessed are those who are, a better translation, who are unimportant. Blessed are those who, it's like he's willing to let himself, the poor in spirit is better translated to those who grieve. Blessed are those who grieve. Because those that grieve, like the Queen said, meek. Meek is unimportant. Yep. This is how it's translated. Yeah, for those who grieve, I think it's wrapped, and this is Tim Mackey. If you guys know Tim Mackey from Bible Project, he's going through a whole thing on the Beatitudes. It's their current a whole year of going through the Sermon on the Mount. But one thing that they mention is when you blessed, it's not even saying like those people will be comforted. It's saying you have the good life if you grieve. And that might sound counter, but if you don't have the capacity to grieve, it's because you lack the capacity to love. You have never loved something deeply enough that you grieve for it when it's gone. And so the good life are actually those who can grieve because they have something worth grieving over. They have relationships that mattered. They had, like it's actually it would be a bad thing if you never grieved, because it would mean nothing mattered to you. So when you grieve, don't think about it like that your goal is to not grieve, I guess. Your goal is not to get rid of grief. Yeah, it's not weakness. Yeah, I don't know. I do really like, apparently it's Queen Elizabeth II, but she said that grief is the price we pay for love. I think that's really well worded. If you love something and death happens, it's how it is. But yeah, the fact that Jesus didn't suppress his grief, but he allowed it to be open and cried, wept openly. He was grieved. Even knowing that it wasn't going to be forever. I don't know. Happy are those, technically, poor in spirit, recognizing our spiritual lacking without God, our need for God. I disagree, but only because I've read what the actual word was used there for poor in spirit. The translation is closer to like those that are the meek, and the translation for that one was those that are unimportant. But so it's actually not a spiritual lack. It's just people that are unimportant. But that's how I interpreted it also for a long time. But as I'm going through the study with Bible Project, and they're putting the words that were actually used there and replace and being like, let's look at what this word really means, I'm seeing it differently than I did before. Because before it kind of made sense, it kind of pieced together. But I didn't know how we were gonna go. I'm going through a small group with Lux Digital that's going through for a year, basically, of the Sermon on the Mount. And I thought, how are we gonna read this for a year? But we've already been, a couple weeks in and however many hours of podcasts in. And I'm like, man, there's a lot to unpack here. It's a lot deeper than I thought it was. It's really, really good. I really suggest it. If anybody hasn't already listened to those podcasts from Bible Project, it's the most recent one they're going through, and it's really, really good. It's helping me understand it a lot better. I don't think I understood it at all, honestly. And now I'm feeling like I read it and was like, yeah, it's good. It sounds nice. Yeah. I guess I should probably let's clean Grandpa Miller's car while we keep reading this. This is the end. This is reading to the end here, which is good. We're getting close to midnight my time. I don't know what it is for you guys. Wow, Grandpa Miller's car really let himself go, but this car looks great. Like, this looks like a car I would want to clean up. Pasties 62 racing team. Awesome. What a cool car. Your ad here. I love this. This is verse 20. It says, don't tear apart the work of God over what you eat. Man, they're really going in on the what you eat thing, but it makes sense given the contexts. Definitely. Wouldn't a car wash be cheaper? Maybe, but I don't know. He's got some cat paws and stuff going along the top of this. Like maybe it's been a while. It's too rusted. That's verse 20. It says, don't tear apart the work of God over what you eat. Remember, all foods are acceptable, but it is wrong to eat something if it makes another person stumble. It is better not to eat meat or drink wine or do anything else that might cause another believer to stumble. You may believe there's nothing wrong with what you are doing, but keep it between yourself and God. Blessed are those who don't feel guilty for doing something they have decided is right. But if you have doubts about whether or not you should eat something, you are sinning if you go ahead and do it. For you are not following your convictions. If you do anything you believe is not right, you are sinning. Just really cuts it there. And why? I think a lot of this is heart. A lot of this is heart issues. What's up, Loki? How are you doing? A lot of this is heart issues. It's the why, right? The why is more important than the what. So many people want to focus on the what and what does this say? Well, if the reason that I do or don't do anything is for any reason other than because I believe it's what God says for me, because God, I believe, loves me, he cares about me, and wants the best for me. Yeah, I hate the what. That would be the very first step, right? I have decided for me in my life personally that I want to follow whatever God's will for my life is. And the reason's because the more I read the Bible, the more I believe that He actually knows what's best for me. And there are some things where I'm not sure what God thinks, this way or that way. And on those things, I have to decide based on God's heart, His character, so on and so forth. I have to make decisions. But there are also things that I go, you know, I disagree with this. This is not the conclusion I would have come to. Maybe this is something that I don't really care about or I don't think is important. But if God says it's important to me to not do this or to do this, then I'm going to do it. And I'm just going to trust that it'll be good because God's good. And He has been in my life. Like, and that's the why. And so the why changes my what. If my why was different and I said, well, only as long as I will trust God as long as it follows what I believe to be good. But if it does not follow what I believe to be good, then I'm not doing it. Well, then it's going to be a lot harder for me to determine. I mean, I'm going to read the Bible way differently. My why would look a whole lot different. I would probably single out certain verses and be like, yeah, we're not going to read that one. I don't really vibe with that verse, so we're going to get rid of that one. Yep. But I don't want to do that, so I don't. Doing good. I wanted to come in and say, hello, I like this convo. I happen to come in, I'm listening. Yeah, we do these every Saturday. We go through a chapter of the Bible while playing a video game. It's mostly for people that have never read the Bible, never been to a church, but are willing to talk about it, discuss. But I'm a big fan of discussions. We've been doing these for about 4 years now. Crazy to think. I've been streaming almost 4 years. I've been streaming actually longer than 4 years, but I've been streaming full time on Twitch as an affiliate for about 4 years now. Turbo Fast Car. Sponsored, not sponsored. Go buy you a Turbo Fast Car. I'm just gonna stand on his car. I'm sure he doesn't mind. We gotta get to that, gotta get to the top, you know? They probably should take off points if you're, like, stepping on the hood. But they don't, so... I find this to be a very... I don't know if it's a difficult or an easy verse. I feel like it's a bit of both. Is the word for today? It's actually at the top of the chat. We're in Romans 14. We just finished though. But we're talking about the very last verse. Yeah. And the very last verse, I believe, is both a good and is both an easy and a hard one.
Okay.
Going to bed. Good night, what? Sleep well. Oh, 15 minutes till? Okay, gotcha. The word of the Bible. My bad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the reason I think it's easy is because it's like, oh yeah, if I think of something and I go, yep, that would be bad for me to do. That's a sin for me. And I have, like, when I'm doing it, I feel like I shouldn't be. Oh, okay. Well, that's I shouldn't be doing that. Bible's saying that you should not do stuff that you have a bad conscience about. On the flip side, I'm like, well, okay. It's also hard because then I don't know. Like, what if I'm reading something and I feel like it's bad, but nobody else does, and then it's, I don't know. It just feels like it could be both. It could be like easier and more difficult. Could complicate things. But again, if I'm thinking about it complicating things, I'm stuck in the what, not the why. And the reason why is because I don't want to do anything that's going to pull me further away from God. And if there's something that I've decided is wrong for me to do, but I ignore that feeling and say, oh, well, whatever. I don't see any, like, real problem with it, according to the Bible. Like, food is a good example. I'm a vegetarian. I don't do it because in the Bible somewhere it says, oh, be a vegetarian. But for me personally, like, you know, I really love animals, and I feel like it would be wrong for me personally to just ignore that. And I've never been like, let's try to force other people to think the same way that I do, or like, I'm not trying to guilt anybody. A lot of people don't even know I'm vegetarian, like, whatever. But for me, it's important that I don't ignore that. But that's not the case for everybody. But there are for sure other examples. For me, I can play video games for long periods of time and not feel like I'm just addicted to video games. And other people, if they play an hour of video games, they're like, wow, I'm really dealing with like a video game addiction. I'm not going to try to convince them to like ignore that. And if they're saying, well, it's really taking away from my time with God or something like that, you know, I'm not going to try to convince them to ignore that. I think they should lean into that. But the thing that they're struggling with, that's not what it is for me. And I actually, it's like I have more of a chance to stream and talk with people, and you know, the important thing for me is doing that. When I play video games, it gives me an opportunity to be more social with people, not less. Some people play video games and it makes them less social because, you know, they're not streaming. They're not playing multiplayer games or something, you know? Some people...
Get a heckin' good sleep.
Yawning friendo, have fun tomorrow. Thank you very much, Samus. Will do. I'm gonna chill a little bit. Probably play some games. Might draw some now that I got my tablet working again. Get a good night's sleep. Nice. Oh, that was pretty fast. Yep. Yeah, I think that's just all of that. all of that is something. It's all connected. The why. Why do anything that God tells you to do? Why would you want to follow anything in the Bible? If your reason is because you trust that God has the best for you, then if there's something that you feel personally is like going to be bad for your relationship with God, then don't do it. It's not good for you to just convince yourself it's fine and then go for it anyway. I've convinced myself, I've told myself, I should not drink. I just know that I shouldn't. I have kind of, my personality is like more of an addictive personality. I tend to, I don't do things in moderation. I just go all in on something, right? If I'm streaming, we're just streaming like crazy. And I think if I started drinking, I probably wouldn't know where to stop. And so for me, I needed to decide before things got worse. You know, I need to just not even let this end for me. It's not worth it for me. But yeah, no reason to risk it. Exactly. I wish I would have had the foresight, capability, whatever it takes to do that with porn. I wish I would have just never let it in. I wish it would have just never even been a thing I struggled with, because it was like, yeah, I just said no to it, and I never even like went down that path, but I did, and it has completely made everything more difficult in my life. And so yeah, I mean, I think about that with like, I'm glad that I don't struggle with alcoholism. And part of the reason I don't struggle is because I said, I'm just not even going to make it a risk. I'm not even going to worry about it. Now, that means that for me, actually, drinking would be a sin. Because I've decided that if I even risk it, it could turn into something worse. So for me, it's like there's an elevated thing. But I don't go around, it's not something I elevate for everybody else. It's not like, oh, you know, person who is my sisters, for instance, they drink wine all the time, and they don't drink to get drunk. They just like the taste of wine. I'm not going to go and elevate it for my sisters and be like, oh, you're not supposed to drink. Drinking's bad. It's not bad. Jesus drank wine. Like, it's very clearly fine. But for me personally, it would be wrong for me to do it. For me to give in to that. Did he? Yes. I think it was John the Baptist who didn't drink. Yeah, that makes sense. So, right? Not saying you can't, but showing that you can or can't, but it's up to you. Yeah. Yeah. So for me personally, I'm just relating it to this last verse, you know, that if you have doubts, I'm gonna just read it again, right? This is the last verse in this thing. You may believe that there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, but keep it between yourself and God. Blessed are those who don't feel guilty for doing something they have decided is right. But if you have doubts about whether or not you should eat something or not, you're sinning if you go ahead and do it. And this is not just about drinking, it says, or if you're not following your convictions. You're not following the thing that you've decided, this is what I'm going to do. If you're being two-faced and you're saying one thing, but you're actually doing another thing, well, you're not following your convictions. And it goes even further. If you do anything that you believe is not right, you're sinning. You're missing the mark. Your goal...
You're my friends now. We're having soft taco later.
Your goal is to go... this is an elevated in the same way that it's elevated with when Jesus says, when he says, like, you've heard it said, don't kill, don't murder. But I've said, it goes even further. If you have anger and hatred in your heart, you've already murdered them in your heart. It's an elevated response of, yeah, like, here's the thing about like sin and stuff, but here is the higher calling of it, that actually if you do this, you are already, yeah. Was Jesus full of the Spirit? I mean, I'd say yeah. But it's a little different because it's the Trinity, the 3 in 1. So Jesus, who's fully man, is also fully God. God the Father, and then the Spirit. And all of those are made of the same stuff, but that they interact differently. So the Spirit would have guided Jesus. It actually says, there's a part where it says that Jesus was led by the Spirit to be tempted at one point. Why would that happen? There's a lot to pull apart in there. Next. Hi, Nora. I love root beer. How's it going? This isn't root beer. This is actually cream soda, but I love root beer and cream soda as well. I just started drinking soda again. I hadn't had a soda in a couple years, but it was really cheap, and I still haven't had caffeine. I quit soda when I quit caffeine. You thought they were the same? Oh man, maybe you haven't ever had cream soda then. When you get a chance, get a cream soda. Give it a try. I like cream soda more than I like root beer. They definitely taste different. Cream soda tastes more caramel-ish, which is better with
Get a
pizza.
heckin' good sleep.
Good question. Thanks for the discussion. Have a good night. Have a good night, Phantom. Appreciate you. I like cream soda better in all cases except for in root beer floats. I would rather have a root beer in a root beer float than a cream soda. Maybe I've just only tried root beer floats. It definitely does taste like ice cream. Yeah. It's just sugar water. There's nothing in this but sugar and water. I mean, the sugar is high fructose corn syrup, but yeah, it's carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, sodium benzoate, which is just the preservative, and then caramel coloring and some artificial flavors. So yeah, this is just a little bit of kind of caramel tasting, vanilla taste, and sugar and carbonated water. Nothing great
As
here.
a cute fox, I believe Jesus loves everyone unconditionally, regardless of their actions. Whether or not Jesus drank alcoholic wine is a theological debate, but his message of love and forgiveness is what truly matters. Let's focus on spreading kindness and positivity instead. Fox, 2 hearts.
Jesus for sure drank wine. But it's okay if you don't agree with that. A lot of reasons. Yeah. Specifically, he says when we drink of the vine again. But it doesn't matter. He didn't drink to get drunk. He drank just for, you know. You see my messages? Which ones? No.
You're my friends now. We're having soft tacos later.
There's lots of verses. Yeah, we could point at any number of verses. There's a ton of verses where Jesus drank wine, but he didn't drink to get drunk. He specifically says, "Don't drink to get drunk." So, I mean, again, is it a problem for you that Jesus drank wine? I would question why it was a problem for you. Wine that is no longer alcoholic becomes vinegar? Interesting. Matthew 26:29. ESV, I tell you, I will not drink again of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. After he passed it around the room and they all drank. I mean, that was the point of the Last Supper. They would drink regularly, and that was just the food that they would eat. It's really, I haven't heard it hotly debated. There's lots of verses that point to it, but I would question why this is a big deal. I haven't heard anybody actually think that Jesus doesn't drink wine. So you're the first that I've met. But I would be more curious why it would be a big deal. Why it would be something that was why it would be a big deal for you. If I drink vinegar, could I say I've had old wine? I don't think you should drink vinegar. Yeah, I would probably not drink that. Have you ever had Big Red Soda? I have. It makes me burp a lot. I like it though. Like red cream soda, basically. We can clean their fire truck. Clean an SUV. Yeah. I feel like everything we just read in Romans pointed to that everything. There wasn't an exception in there. Everything is allowed. That nothing in and of itself is a problem, but why you do it is a problem. If you eat in excess, gouging, that's gluttony. That's a problem. Same with drinking. If you drink to get drunk, that's a problem. But the wine itself is not the problem and is allowed, as are all meats. Coming from somebody who's a vegetarian. I mean, this would have been especially, in other words, even things that are not halal, which would be the biggest thing that he would have been talking about here. I mean, he's talking about somebody that are, but yeah, Jesus would not be sinning if he drank wine, I think is the main point. So if he did or didn't, I mean, again, there's lots of verses that point to him doing it, but if he did or didn't, it doesn't really matter. He wouldn't have been sinning if he had. And neither would I. But I choose not to because I don't want to even risk. And I think for me it would be a risk. It runs in my family too. My extended family, not my immediate family. Is that not a... Brake lights. These? We're talking about these, right? This is already clean. Oh, this one's not. That half was not. What is a bonnet? I thought that was something that you wear. This? Oh, yeah, yeah. Yep. Yep. It is time.
Get a heckin' good sleep.
It is time. Well, thanks for the convo. Thanks for chatting. Appreciate you, Wyatt. And everybody. Yeah. It was good. As always. A good convo. Appreciative. Let me pray. And close out. Probably find somebody to raid. Dear Heavenly Father, God, I pray that we understood the purpose of these verses, that we tried our best to understand what it meant for us, how it applies to our lives today, and I pray that we saw truth. God, I pray that if there's anything in here that we're not understanding or that we're misrepresenting or anything like that, God, that you'll just lovingly correct us. You could lovingly correct me, that I'll understand it better. I only want what's truth, God. I just want to know what you're trying to say. I don't want to say anything else other than that. And I also know, God, it'd be really easy to just leave this as stuff that's not actionable, that there's nothing that would change the way I think and the way that I act and all of that. And I don't want that. And so, God, I pray that we'll be able to understand this stuff better so that we can actually change how we view you and how we view others. God, I love you. I trust you. I thank you and praise you. It's in your name, Jesus, I pray all these things. Amen. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us for a Games and God. Thank you. Let's see here. Yeah, thanks.
Nice.
Listening some, have a nice night. Thank you, Caleb. You too. I will not be live tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day off. But I'll probably be back Monday. I will be enjoying probably drawing. I found my pen finally. I've been looking for it for a while now. And I finally found it, so I can start drawing again, maybe a little bit. Think. I don't know if it's somebody I haven't rated in a while. I haven't rated this person in a very long time. All right, let's. I'm gonna grade Mixela. Playing Helldivers. I've been playing a lot of Helldivers lately with friends. Probably play some of that tomorrow. This game's a lot of fun. I basically maxed it out in like a day and a half. Played way too much of it. Hit level 20 like really fast. But yeah. We'll go watch her struggle bus while killing some bugs for freedom, for democracy. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Sleep well when you do. I guess I'll see you on Monday.